All right, welcome to the Nathaneal podcast. Today we have a good friend from X, Ellison Scarborough. Did I say that right? I hope I didn't.
Yeah, you totally did.
That's great. That's great. So,
Nobody ever says it right.
really, what do they say normally?
Scarborough.
Oh, okay. So, at least I
Similar.
did something right. But yeah, for anyone who doesn't know you on X right now, would you kindly tell some things about you, Ellie?
Totally. My name's Ellie. I am 24. I live in Miami. I own a UGC creative agency. And I'm just sharing my journey through X and just trying to connect with other business owners or creators or people who are just following their passion and just trying to make it happen.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And I saw in your bio or like in one of your pages that you actually studied marketing. So you were already somewhat of a marketer even in college. Did you always feel like you were meant to be a marketer, or how did that go?
So, kind of weird. My very first job ever was at Dunkin' Donuts, and that's like not relatable, but I had a manager who like went on to be a social media manager, and I was
Wow.
only like 17 years old, and she was like, "Why don't you come work for our company?"
Hmm.
And so, when I was like 17, I started working like in the social media world, basically like doing Pinterest marketing. I didn't really know that that's what it was at the time. I thought I was just like posting stuff on Pinterest. So I was doing like Pinterest marketing and Instagram stuff. And then in college, I was like, well, I mean, marketing seems creative, so I'll
Hmm.
just do that. I was a little like undecided, but I feel like you never can go wrong with marketing. And then I guess it was like, now I'm 24. Maybe it was like when I was 22, I fell in love with marketing. I'm like, I love this. This is so fun. It doesn't have to be like a boring corporate marketing situation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is quite interesting. The creator economy. You can literally be you. You know, that's what's interesting. Like being a personal brand. It's not really about marketing in a way. It's just posting about yourself.
I know. And it's like when you start like trying to overcomplicate that, it like doesn't work.
Yeah, yeah. When you like start strategizing, it just I've done that. I tried to do that one time, and it just felt like inauthentic.
And then you also get like so wrapped up in your ego where you're like,
Mm.
oh, is this like who I am? Like, if it's you, it's you.
Yeah, yeah. And one of the things you mentioned in our little exchange in the DMs, you actually did a little bit of modeling. Is that correct?
Yes. So I guess I could like tell a little bit about how I started my
Go for it.
agency.
Go for it.
Um, so in COVID, I was in college and I was living
Mm.
in student living dorms. And basically, we got an email one day and they were like, okay, you need to get out. There's this thing called COVID. So I had a friend who lived in Miami and she was like, why don't you come enjoy the beach during this 2 week vacation that we have? 2 week. Um, and so I came to Miami and I got signed with a modeling agency when I first
Mm.
got here. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is my dream. I want to do this. I need to move here. So I basically like packed up my life back home in Georgia and I moved
Mm.
to Miami. And I had a year where it was really, really hard. I was living in an apartment with 10 girls. We
Mm.
were all like $0 broke. We weren't working. It was COVID. It was really a weird time. And I almost like had an awakening during that time where I was like, okay, I think I thought this was my dream my whole life to like go and be a model in a city, but I don't think that that is my dream.
Mm.
And that's when I started learning about UGC and learning how to be a creator. And I thought that you had to be an influencer to be a creator.
Mm.
And so I literally, the first month that I started um, learning about UGC and doing it, it kind of became my full-time job. And I came from like a creative background, so I did know like how to edit videos and like how to do stuff already. And over like a few months, my clients, they were basically on retainer where they had like 10 videos a month from me or like 30 from some of them. And over a few months, they were like, Ellie, we love you, but we're tired of seeing your face all over our social media. Like, who else do you work with? So that's kind of when the idea of the agency was born, because I was like, oh, I need to
Mm.
work with other creators and like have a team of people who can all have their faces on the social media.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So it kind of you also kind of just stumbled across it. You didn't really plan.
Not at all. I had no idea that it was even a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a friend who was a videographer, and she said it so casually. She was like, why don't you do UGC?" And I was like, "UG what?" Like,
Yeah, I actually
what?
also didn't know. I had to like look that up when you mentioned like I don't know if it's in your bio somewhere when you mentioned like UGC. I'm like, what is that? Is that like a
What does that even
corporation or
mean?
something?
Well, I guess for the people that don't know what UGC is, it stands for user generated content,
Yeah. So
meaning
mhm.
content generated by a user of a
Users.
product.
But basically, it's
What do you know?
something like is am I correct in thinking that UGC is basically you get a product and then you kind of like use it while you're in video or something like that? That's what I noticed.
Totally.
Okay.
That's like literally exactly what it is. And it's coming from the brand's like side, but it doesn't feel like it's coming from the brand. Or like
Mm,
that's the point, the goal of it.
right. So let's just go a little bit deeper in the UGC area because it's very interesting to me. So how do you start UGC? Do you like can you for example right now I don't know this pen right what's this faster it's a brand and then I start using it and then I film myself and then I just pitch that is that something like UGC brands would do or how does that go?
Totally. I mean, when I first started, like it's hard to get work at first if you don't have any examples of yourself doing
Mm,
anything. So I would take whatever I loved around my house and make a little video about it. And maybe I made like 4 or 5 different videos, and that was my portfolio
portfolio.
that I would share with people. And
Okay.
I would pretend that I worked for like Stanley or whatever. And, that portfolio, especially in the beginning, you need to redo your portfolio so much because, like,
Mm,
you'll go 1 month and you're like, whoa, my video skills have completely, like, gone up 100%. This is
yeah.
amazing.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So in a way, the free video, so you can basically you can be a mini influencer in a way by filming yourself and then just waiting for someone to. Did you wait for someone to call you or did you pitch?
I was pitching, so I fully started by freelancing it. And
Okay.
I pitched myself, and honestly, like it's really competitive, like DMing people on Instagram
Right.
or like trying to get brands. It didn't work for me personally, so
Mm,
I would use like Fiverr or I used this platform Billow. It's
okay.
like a UGC platform a lot when I was first starting, and
Mm,
maybe there's a few other ones now, but totally freelancing it.
right.
And so I didn't wait for them to come to me. And what happened by freelancing it like that was I got way, way better skills. And then like I also got a way better portfolio.
Yeah.
And then I was able to like pitch people if I came across someone
Mm,
that I had the opportunity in the beginning to
mm.
pitch. Yeah.
That's interesting. So I'm just this is really new to me and very like interesting because I'm also like a freelancer in a way, right? Ghostwriter, and in a way, when I publish content out there, that's sort of like your portfolio as well, right? And Twitter, where if you make a good post, like someone's going to like I had people DM me because I had a good post to be like, can you make that post for me too? Like,
Yeah.
does that also happen to you?
Okay, I think that Twitter is like such a great way to get started as a UGC creator. I just
Mm,
didn't even know, or like X, like I didn't even know about that at all when I started.
mm,
And so I think if I was like starting over, like I would definitely post like my work on Twitter
mm.
because Well, we hire a lot of creators from Twitter where we see somebody
Mm,
and we're like, oh my God, they're amazing. Let's DM them and blah, blah, blah. So I think it's like a really good way to get your work out there
mm.
and
So
connect with like-minded people.
yeah, so why Twitter specifically? I mean, I would imagine wouldn't like Instagram or TikTok make more sense?
I feel like Twitter pushes your content out more. So like
Hmm.
I have personally like I have tried so long to like grow on TikTok or like grow on Instagram with like no ROI basically.
Really?
Like never close any client off of TikTok or Instagram. Literally the first week that I started posting about my services on X, I like closed a $5,000 client.
Whoa.
7 days. I had like
Wow.
130 followers.
Wow. That's insane. That's insane.
I just like feel
Dude,
like people from Twitter are like ready to
to like
like
just send the invoice.
I'm like, what
Yeah.
the heck, bro?
Yeah, yeah. That's actually true. I mean, I haven't tried any other platform, but I have had a lot of people in X who just like DM'd me and or not even DM'd me, like just booked a call. I was like, where'd this come from? Like someone booked
Like,
a
who are
call
you?
out of nowhere. So yeah, it was kind of weird for me. But
But you're
you
crushing it on Twitter.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what happened. It kind of clicked. It's still clicking right now. Hopefully it doesn't disappear.
But you feel like it's like the same vibe for you where you're like, okay, I'm reaching my target or like the people that I want to be reaching on that
Mm.
platform.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the problem I think with Twitter, and this is what kind of took me some time to realize, is when you interact. For example, my friends are writers too, right? And so I join engagement groups where you engage with same writers. But the problem with that is when you engage with writers, Twitter will push writers to you and you will get pushed to writers. So if you don't have the right strategies on engagement, you will like be in an echo chamber where you will just interact with writers and you'll never get to sell anything
Oh,
because
interesting.
yeah, so because like your post will only be seen by writers and you will get writers, so which is good because you kind of like get ideas, but you'll never get like CEOs or people who can actually afford my ghostwriting services. I needed to like intentionally look for CEOs to interact with.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know anything about the X algorithm, so that's
Hmm.
really cool.
Yeah, yeah. So I actually like have lists, right? I don't know if you use them. Do you use lists?
No, I don't even know what that is.
So in okay, well we can have a lesson here. So in on X, you can actually have form lists so that you can only engage with specific people.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
yeah, and you don't need to scroll through your For You page because your For You page, again, it's the same thing. Like in your For You page, people are gonna get pushed. Like people who have the same interests as you will get pushed there. So if I'm a ghostwriter, most likely those people in my For You page are ghostwriters, which doesn't make sense because why would I want to or like I
Yeah, yeah.
can't close ghostwriters. So there's this option where you can create lists, engagement lists. So I have a list for like big players who I want to interact with, like people who are above me, 200,000 followers. I have a list for my friends, and then I have a list for prospects and clients, and I interact with them separately.
That is brilliant. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But maybe like after this call, I can like share that tactic with you. So now, so you only recently like started X. Like, when did when did you start again? Sorry.
I think I started X. I think I started X like 2 months ago.
2 months. Okay.
So I think it's going well. I
Yeah.
mean, I just like post every day. And I don't have like a bajillion followers, but I think my account is about to have 500.
Well, dude, it doesn't matter. You closed a $5,000 like, this is just a
I was
testament,
literally
guys.
like,
You don't need
Twitter is
followers.
magic. Like, what the heck is going on? Like, when the invoice like went through and like he paid it, I was like, you gotta be like, he went on literally a 1 minute call with me. It was like, okay, cool, you know UGC, awesome, great, send the invoice.
What, dude? I'm gonna change my career. I'm gonna study video editing now.
You're
Dude,
like, I'm a UGC creator now.
yeah. I mean, I have beautiful hair too, so
You
it could
do. You
work.
could totally do some hair videos.
Yeah, yeah. But was this? So I'm curious. Before you joined X, how did you like do your agency work? Because I feel like X is a good lead generating tool for you right now. But before that, how did you generate leads?
So I love X because it is a free lead generation tool.
Yeah.
And so before this, I was using Google Ads, which is very
Oh,
expensive
yeah.
and it
Okay.
is really competitive and it's also really hard to like do. So I want to build up um a lead funnel that's like authentic
Yeah.
and just built from sharing my real story.
Yeah. That's very
Besides
interesting.
like having to run ads 24/7.
Because I was assuming that you were getting leads from Instagram or TikTok. Zero. Wow. Wow.
Zero, which you would think that because those are like video platforms.
Yeah,
I've
right?
gotten leads from LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn is my baby. I love LinkedIn. And then Twitter. And so I'm like, honestly, I'm over the other platforms. I'm going to these.
You know what I'm gonna do? What I'm gonna do after this call is I'm gonna start posting on Instagram and on TikTok because I'm starting to think that
Opposite.
Twitter, right? Like Twitter and LinkedIn need video content, and I feel like Instagram and TikTok need writers. Like I
You
might
should do that.
experiment
There's like
that.
the threads on Instagram too.
Yeah, yeah. I might do that.
I
We'll
think
see.
you should try it.
Yeah, I should
I
try
think
it.
it's pretty good.
The only reason why I haven't tried it is because right now I started Twitter. I only had 100 followers there and like random small number amount of friends and then like random people. But in Twitter or not Twitter, Instagram and TikTok, those are where my family members and like friends are. That's why I don't post anything there. So I
It's
might
like
just
the
start
cringe
a
is
new thing.
real.
Yeah, I mean I don't know because I took a leave of absence from university, and I kind of still don't want to tell people that I quit my job and I'm just like what I mean. Like I don't want to tell people that here I am like creating money online from strangers. I don't know.
I feel like it's like maybe you're in your like building in silence era right
Yeah,
now, and then it's like you come out and you're like,
yeah,
hello, like here I am, and I like have this big Twitter business happening.
yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, man, if I hit my number was 10K per month. Like if I hit the 10K per month, like it's consistent, that's when I will post an Instagram and get leads there. Because like if people hate me and they like unfollow me, it doesn't matter because I'm making 10. Like, I'm
Yeah, who
making 10K per
cares?
month.
And at that point, they're probably gonna be like, how is he doing this? What is he doing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In
It's
this.
very funny. So before LinkedIn and Twitter, so right now, um, are you still generating leads from LinkedIn, or you're getting primarily in Twitter?
I would say, okay, so they're kind of two different types of clientele, I would say.
Mm,
So
interesting,
LinkedIn is
dude.
more,
I gotta take notes.
I want to say LinkedIn is more like professional because like the people that I get maybe are like a little older or like been part of a company for a really long time. And then the Twitter clients that I have closed are more like young dudes like living in Bali. And I'm not like hating on them. Like I love them too. So it's just very different. And honestly, I talk to my audiences very, very different on both platforms because on
Yeah.
Twitter, I'm like, oh my God, here I am. Ugh, hustle culture. And then on LinkedIn, I'm like, hey, it's Ellie, day in the life. Like it's way more mellow. So yeah, that's kind of how it's going.
Dude, this is a this is so hilarious. Well, I don't. I think I should do that more often because in LinkedIn, dude, yeah, in LinkedIn I just literally repost what I got from X, but I'm growing there though.
That's
Like I'm,
great. That's great.
yeah, it's working for some reason. So
LinkedIn is really like gonna just throw this out there. I think LinkedIn is really easy to grow on. Once
yeah,
you get over that like LinkedIn cringe of like I'm posting on LinkedIn and
yeah,
it's so funny like I have people that I was connected to on my LinkedIn like from high school, from college, and all of a sudden like I'm posting like every day like stuff.
yeah,
You have to get over the fact that they're seeing all of that or just like remove them and
yeah.
then just live your best life.
Wow. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually did notice that. I grew to like 200 in like 3 weeks or something. 200
It's amazing.
followers. Yeah, it's kind of easy. I noticed. You just like post content and then comment a bunch and then send connections. Spam out.
Literally. And then it's
Yeah.
like, okay, because like the thing I like about LinkedIn is like everyone's there to like make business moves.
Mm,
You're not like
interesting.
going on LinkedIn to like see what Stephanie did today. Like you're seeing like what did Stephanie message you about this upcoming project that you might have together? And but
Yeah.
it's like mutually both like that. So it's like no one needs
Mm.
to feel bad that they're just there for like the money, kind of.
Yeah, yeah. That's great. So now that let's now that you like close your clients, I'm curious how do you just did they just like give you freedom to do whatever you want, or how does like UGC go? Normal, or at least in
So
your experience.
yeah, normally, normally like we will do our own market research and we'll come up with our own creative strategy.
Okay.
We do like present that to the brand so that they know what we're thinking in terms of creative direction because
Mm,
I don't want to take a project the wrong way on accident
yeah.
or like use the wrong marketing angle. So
Okay.
usually the clients are like hands off but approve everything. Because sometimes we work with clients and they're literally like, we know like the age, we know the demographic, we know like everything about our client. And
Mm,
some clients I work with are like, we don't know anything. We don't even know if it's like a 40-year-old or like an 18-year-old.
yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like I've gotten to a point now though where they're like, okay, well, you're like running in this agency, like you probably know
No
what
stuff.
you're talking about. And honestly, not like in a cocky way, I think I do know what I'm talking about because I spend every freaking moment of my day on social media, like
Yeah.
analyzing everything. So they usually give me a lot of freedom.
That's great. But have you ever had a client who was like controlling for you, or not really?
Oh yeah. Honestly, like
Oh yeah, I can see the eyes. It's like,
you probably know this, like being a freelancer, like
yeah,
it's like you have these clients that they like don't pay you anything and then they like need a million things from you and they're like
yeah,
not paying you for them and you're like bro, you're literally my lowest paying client, why are you acting
yeah.
like this? So I
That
have
is
like
true.
dealt with that in the past and now like honestly I'm such a bitch where I'm like if I notice that someone is like that from the beginning I'm like
Goodbye.
wow, like you know what, never
Sucks.
mind, our schedule's busy because I'm like I don't have time for this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that, but that came with time because I used to have to just put up with it and be like, okay,
Yeah.
well, I need this client and I just need to learn these hard lessons this way.
Yeah. Yeah. I do notice that people who pay less. Did I get frozen again?
Nope.
Okay. Uh, People who pay less, they are more like controlling on your face because I don't know.
So
Is that
true.
the
It's
same for
like
you?
if the client is like hard to close, it's like, dude, they're hard to close for a reason because they're probably going to be a nightmare. When did you start your podcast? Like how did that start?
Right. So I don't know if you know Jack Moses. Have you seen him around in Twitter?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Right. So I was part of his cohort, and we're like, he's my mentor and good friend, and he told me like the best networking tool is the podcast, and at first I was like, but then I noticed that, and here's the thing: people will like be conservative when you ask them to hop on calls, but if you ask them like, hey, let's hop on a podcast, they're gonna hop on it, right? So
It's so true.
yeah, so like if for example, I got on a podcast with Dakota Robertson and Aaron Will, two of the biggest creators on X, and like the reason why I got on a call with them is because it's a podcast. It's not a call, It's like if I could just invite people in my podcast and I get connected to the biggest creators to like, I mean, right now we're connected because
It's like a double win because you're like meeting people, also like fun combo, and then you have like content
content.
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so
So
great
I
that
have
you can
something to
like
post.
film podcasts remotely.
Oh,
My chair is so squeaky. I'm so sorry.
okay. All right. So what can we expect from Ellie in the future on X?
Ex-queen, obviously.
Yeah.
All jokes, all jokes. I want to connect with I honestly want to connect with people who like want to build an agency
Mm,
and who want to like learn how to do that. I love to like share my journey and like any tips that I know because I've like been down the path of it.
yeah.
And I wish that I had someone who was like a few steps ahead of me, like helping me for sure.
Great. And where can the people who you want to connect with find you right now?
Well, I guess you can follow the ex queen at um Ellison Ellison .scar on X.
Awesome. Awesome.
Not even gonna
And
give other platforms because we don't care about those.
only X. Only X.
Only X.
Only X. All right.
Let me, I'm
One last
exclusively on
question.
X.
All right. So one last question. The last question I always like to ask my guests. If I could have asked one question that you wish I asked, what would it have been, and how would you have answered it?
That's a really hard one. I'm kind of new to this whole podcast thing.
All right. Let's make it easier. Just out of the top of your head right now, what do you want to say?
Everyone have a great day. And I believe in you with whatever you're trying to do. And also follow everyone on Twitter and LinkedIn because they're sharing some fire info.
That's so funny. But yeah. All right. Thanks for hopping in, Ellie. We should try this again.
It was great to meet and connect and go on a podcast together and just like it was like I said, like you sent me a message on Twitter, like a voice memo thing, and I was like, I know this guy. I feel like I know some of his story. Like
Yeah.
it really is a genuine way to connect with people. They hear your voice.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is fun. Like again, what you mentioned earlier, which I don't know if it's still part of the thing, because I was so frustrated off camera. I was like, what? But as you mentioned, what's great about podcasts is like right now we're getting to know each other in a call. We never met each other, and but we also have content. So yeah, thanks for hopping in.